Rob, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, James.
Obviously, you're the CEO of newly public Infoblox that had a good IPO in April. And, after a bit of a hiatus post-Facebook, we're now seeing some other tech companies come to market with decent offerings. We saw Palo Alto Networks and Kayak last week. What do you think of the current market for tech IPOs?
Well, I think it's very encouraging that Palo Alto and Kayak had a good offering. As we all know, Facebook was a little bit of a disaster in the market, maybe a little oversold, maybe a little overhyped, and lots of high expectations for it. And it caused the window to shut, I think, for quite a while, so investors got a little scary. But I think it shows that some of the fundamentals of a good business can always go public, and definitely Palo Alto in that category, Kayak as well. So a good, strong business with good fundamentals, good growth, good profitability can open that window again. So I'm hopeful that it's started to ease the opportunity for other companies too.
Because I know that obviously prior to Facebook, it had been a pretty good year all in for tech IPOs. I mean, do you think that kind of moving forward towards the rest of the year, as you say, post Palo Alto and post Kayak, we're going to see like a good market for tech sector offerings?
I think it always takes a little while. I think the Facebook catastrophe was so profound and it was received so badly that even though good companies can get out now and maybe a little bit quickly after the Facebook thing, it's going to take a while to recover. The economy doesn't help much. So I think a couple of good offerings like Palo Alto will ease the way, but it's still going to take, I think, some months before people get more confident and invest in tech in a big way again.
Obviously, you guys are based out in Santa Clara in California, so you're out there, you're in Silicon Valley. I mean, kind of what's the mood like generally there for, for young companies?
I think it's pretty bullish at the moment. VCs are certainly not reluctant to invest in small companies at the moment, so there's VC money around. I think you feel a different environment in Silicon Valley. It's pretty upbeat. I think technology companies are growing. And those companies that are grabbing onto the trends of the day and where IT departments are spending money, like cloud computing and mobility and virtualization. Anyone who has an offering around that, I think, feels pretty comfortable about the future and growth for their company.
Well, that's interesting that you mentioned those areas, because obviously that's these are areas where Infoblox works. I mean, tell us a little bit about kind of where you sit in the market in relation to some of your competitors.
Well, we're very fortunate, I think, that we kind of sit at the intersection of some of the areas that people are spending money: mobility, cloud computing, virtualization, and so on. All those things have made networks very, very complex. And to manage the infrastructure is becoming more and more difficult with open source code and tools and so on. So we automate all that. So we're very lucky that where people are spending money and where they're creating complexity in the networks, we can make them simple and we can make those networks reliable. I think we're almost at a point these days where network data is as important to an organization as its financial data. So they need the same kind of sophisticated tools and credibility and reliability to manage network data as they do for financial data. And it separates us from our competitors. There isn't a single company like BMC or CA or any of those guys who have real-time network data. And to manage a network today in an automated kind of way, you need real-time data. We have it, they don't.
And what do you think is the biggest sort of threat to, a network manager these days? I mean, are we talking, is it going to be external in terms of like a security threat, or is it going to be an internal challenge such as, scaling your network to deal with the latest work that you're doing around mobile? What's the biggest issue that they face these days?
I think two, really. That security threat is always there, but mobility makes security even more important. People take an iPad to Starbucks, connect it, who knows what they pick up, then they bring it to work and connect it to their organization's network. A lot of opportunity for security to be hacked doing that. So I think that's a big concern. And secondly, it is the complexity of the network. With everyone connecting everything to the network, so many devices attached, so many things have IP addresses, that managing that day to day for a network manager is a nightmare. And today, a network really runs a business. Planes don't leave airports without a network running, banks don't open, traders don't trade, retailers don't sell unless their computer networks are up. So the reliability of that network and the complexity that's being added to it is a nightmare for people who manage networks today.
This market is
stock pickers market.
Stocks have rallied this year.
We're coming into a Monday where we're going to